Alright, so let's talk about the i20 N-Line. I know this car is creating a bit of controversy, and my views on this car are very. Uh, People in the Polo community are not liking it, but I've owned a Polo, so trust me when I say this is a better car. So, in terms of exterior, what does this get different? This gets this fancy spoiler element which extends out a little bit over here, and the spoiler is also different than the regular i20. The side elements extend out. The bumper, well, it gets, I don't know, I think the bumper is more or less, the rear bumper is more or less same as the regular i20. The exhaust cutout is there, but I don't think the regular i20 has any different bumpers. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not very sure. The other thing that this gets is the so-called blackness, which is this entire trim over here, the window trim is black, which is not there in the regular i20. Regular i20 I think is silver and it looks hideous. So fortunately they gave us at least a black trim on this car. Then the wheels, up for debate. Don't know if they look good or bad, but they're alright. The tires, on the other hand, people have gotten different tires. I've got CH Secure Drive, somebody's got Nexen tires. So that's again, I guess Hyundai is confused about what tires to give on this. Either way, these tires are okay, nothing great, nothing bad either, but they are decent. In terms of the rest of the car, the front bumper is completely new. I mean, yeah, it's very different from the regular i20. It's got this fancy lip spoiler, which is over here, and it's got the red linings, side skirts also the red linings over here, as well as the grille. Now, grille is a bit of a question mark, it looks nice, but with that much open space, and it looks a little flimsy. So, and maybe I'll put a wire mesh behind it just to ensure that no stones get through and damage the radiator, condenser, and intercooler. Yes. In terms of the front, it looks nice. I don't particularly like the rake and the front slope, but yeah, it's for a 1 liter engine. You don't want too big an engine bay. In terms of other elements, noticeable ones is this: the fog light surround. They made a lot of headway in terms of removing all the chrome from the car, and they gave the fog light the chrome surround. Okay. I don't know. I like it. It initially looked alright to me, but now it just stands out too much. Maybe if I can get paint, remove the fog lights around and paint it in gloss black, it'll go better. We'll do that later on. Headlights, LED, all LED, so nothing very fancy, but does the job very well. Fortunately, they have a leveler auto. Instead of auto leveling the headlights, you can actually manually level it, so that helps. And that's about the exterior. So the interiors, let's unlock the car. Yeah, let me just zoom out a little bit. Whoops. Yeah, so let's talk about the interiors. Door cards, hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic. Yeah, it's hard plastic everywhere. Even this part is hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic, everywhere hard plastic. But then on a budget car, you don't expect much. In terms of interior trimming and all, looks alright. Nothing really fancy. The red accents are really nice. I just wish that they had put this particular trim in a different color. It would really liven up the interiors a bit. But then, Harman from Upshift Auto and I were thinking that maybe we can dip this piece and do either hydro dipping of this piece in carbon fiber, and it'll make it look a little bit better, or a different color, maybe silver or something, to kind of change the cabin space a little bit better. The door handles get this fancy red trimming over here. Okay, nothing great, but looks nice. The gear lever selector is very plain and simple. AC controls, everything are very nice. It's unique controls. The AC vents are a little interesting. So if you look at it, the vents right now, So you can open and close. You can slide this for open and close. So you slide it this way, it closes the vent. You slide this way, it opens the vent. And move up and down you can do over here. So interesting design. Seats are very nice. I mean, what I like about the seats are the bolsters. These side bolsters are huge. If you look at how big they are in comparison to the seat, that's a big difference from the regular cars. So normal, I mean, again, Polo is my reference point because I've owned the car. Polo didn't have any kind of side bolstering on the seats. Neither in the bottom over here. If you look at the bottom side bolstering, it's pretty high, and the side bolstering on the seats are also pretty high. So this seat actually holds you in place. You know, for me, I really like the back support that I get. If I turn around, you can see the support I'm getting over here is very good. So if I throw the car around in a corner, it holds me in place. Other than that, digital cluster. If I turn the car on, let me just turn this car on a bit. Okay, car is on. So okay, the digital cluster, too BMW-ish. I don't like the BMW cluster at all, and I'm not a big fan of this cluster either. Particularly, maybe they could have used a better font over here. You know, Sirish in his review also pointed out that this 1.3, 1.2 is pointless. It's ridiculous. Rather give me a round dial.
Have a wonderful afternoon.
Okay,
Don't forget to wear a seatbelt.
Okay, that's alright. I would forget to wear seatbelt. Thank you, Hyundai. Other than that, the infotainment is really good. I mean, it's really fancy infotainment unit it has. Everything under the sun is there in this infotainment unit. The AC gets automatic climate control. It manages everything. When you can select the airflow from this button. Temperature controls are over here. Fan controls over here. Very neatly tucked in control system on the AC bit. The interesting parts are over here, in which you can actually use this button to turn the rear view camera on even when you're rolling, which is a cool feature, unnecessary but cool feature, to see if somebody's tailgating you or if you want to take a video of somebody who's driving behind you. This is the fun button over here. This is a traction control button. So you press this button once, it disables the traction control but keeps ESP on. You press it again, traction control gets enabled, and when you long press this button, it will disable ESP and traction control. So you get full control of the car, sliding or crashing or doing whatever you want to. So that's a good thing. So let's turn the AC off. In terms of NVH in the cabin, yeah, it's a little noisy. The 3-cylinder does make a bit of a racket. So that's one thing. I mean, it's a cheap car. It'll be noisy inside, and the Polo is slightly less noisier for sure. You have the 1-cylinder. You do get a nice sunroof over here. I have never opened mine, but I like the light that comes in here at night, especially since the cabin is black fully, so it does get a bit dark inside, and it is a loft, so it works. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter that much. I've been sitting in the front seat most of the time. The steering wheel, let me just zoom out over here. Zoom out, yes, steering wheel. Steering wheel is fantastic, you know, big fat steering wheel, very grippy, nice leather. The controls are very interesting. So you have these are actually two separate buttons over here. One is to move up and down in the infotainment system over here. Sorry, this is to move up and down, and this is for the cruise control, increase and decrease. Cruise control button, this is the infotainment, I mean, on the information display. You press this button, it changes the information display over here, and it has tire pressure monitoring, all 4 wheels. It does a pretty good job. OK is to select something in the cluster, and this is to reset or pause. You know, if you want to, let's say, reset your fuel economy or trip meter, you can use this button. On this side, you have the Hyundai Blue Link, which is not activated because my permanent number isn't here yet. So once I get my permanent number, the Blue Link gets activated and I can use this button for Blue Link. Then the mode button basically switches between the radio, your aux, and your Bluetooth. So when you press this, it'll change over here. You can see it changes to Prithvi's iPhone. And back to. So this button over here on the side, this is again split into two if you notice. So this button is for volume, this is for changing tracks. Now interestingly, normally in most cars, up is changing track forward and the bottom is changing track backward, going back a track. But in the Hyundai, it seems that they have done it differently. So up is for going up in the playlist or in the channels, and down is for going down. So let me just demonstrate that to you. If I go to radio, right, you can see the radio channels over there. If I hit the up button, it moves up the channel. And similarly, down button over here moves it down the channel. So that takes a bit of getting used to. So yeah, and you for mute, you just press the volume button down here, mute. Press it again, unmute. Volume up, volume down, and then mute again. This is for your phone, hang up, receive a call, hanging up a call. Pretty neat control. I really like the steering wheel. The paddle shifters feel very nice. There's some very interesting things. So if we go to the paddle shifter over here, let me see if you can see this. This is for down. It has an indent for down, and on the up it has the out. It is kind of, where is it? Yes, here it is. So you have a slightly bulging out for up, and on the other paddle it's going in for down. So it's very cute and a neat little feature. Nothing very fancy, but yeah, it's nice to know. Down here, this is a charging port. This is just for charging. This will not connect to your infotainment. This is a USB port that you can use for charging as well as for your infotainment connectivity for Apple CarPlay and all. The wireless charger is over here, but it is weird. On some covers it works, some covers it doesn't work. So just check with your cover of your phone to ensure that the wireless charging works with that cover. Otherwise, you can do it on the selector side. It's pretty simple, you know. Press the brake, selector goes park, reverse, neutral, drive, and sport. You put it over here, it goes into sport mode. You can either do manual up and down from here, which honestly it doesn't make any sense, but I'd rather use the paddles. Paddles work same as the VW, so you can go into manual mode by clicking on any of the paddles over here, and then going back into D or sport mode, you just hold the paddle down and it'll go back into the mode. So that works very nicely. Okay, so that's as much of the cabin as you can think of. In small glove blocks over here, extends, doesn't hold up, but it extends in and out. Pretty neat. Handbrake is nice. Plastic quality is poor. I mean, it's okay. It's okay for a hatch. For what purpose it serves is pretty alright. But yeah, I wish they had done some kind of coloring on the roof liner or somewhere to add a little bit of splash of color on the interiors. That would have been very nice. And I wish that they had put this in soft touch plastic. The lower part is okay. This part, only this part is leather-like touch. No, it's actually plastic too. Everything is plastic on the door. There's not a single piece of non-plastic trim, and all are hard plastic. So I wish that they had put this as soft touch plastic. The rest is okay. I don't mind that much. The other thing that this car gets, which is actually very fancy, is the speakers, which are actually Bose, and they sound really good. I mean, I was very surprised. I did not know this car gets Bose speakers, and it sounds very good. So let me just give you an example. This is radio simple. Yeah, that is really good sound system. I mean, it's really amazing that they can afford to put in both at this price into a car. Other than that, start stop button is over here. Turn it off. Click on the start stop button over here. Let's see. Yep, the car turns off and you're good to go. So pedals are all metal, so nice aluminum cover with rubber supports in there. Very nice. It also has nice jet pedals where you can put your leg over here on the side, so it doesn't float around like in most cars. Indicator stock is on the right hand side, which took me a bit of getting used to because I am used to Volkswagen indicators on the left hand side, wipers on right. It takes a bit of getting used to, but nothing very, irritating. The headrests are adjustable, so you can bring them down, up, down. The headrests have red stitching in there, but this red lining is not there on the headrest. Well, let's look at the back seat. So this is my seating position. I find the seating position in this car a little high than what I'm used to, because if I'm looking at my car, I'll do the driving review with the head camera on my head, so you'll see what my eye view is. It's a little higher than what I like, but it takes a bit of getting used to. You get used to it. Nothing too irritating. Initially, I found it very irritating because I felt the seat would have been lower. But yeah, once you get used to driving this car, yeah, it's not that much of a headache. Now let's look at the rear. The rear in this car has got a lot of space. So this is my seating position. I am about 10-ish, and look at the amount of space I have. The front seats are on my how I regularly sit, and look at the amount of space I have in the back. Not that I'm ever going to sit in the back, but it is pretty fantastic how much space they have got in this car. And let me just do a zoom out so you can see that is the amount of space I have if I'm sitting in the back. The seats are very, very comfortable. Very nice seats. I'm not complaining. Door cards are hideous though. I don't like the door cards at all. They're plastic, and then during the delivery they put this fancy shiny shit on it, so it looks even worse. I'll fix that later on. So if you don't want your seatbelt buckles flopping around, I believe you can put them back in here. So I think these things can go in here, and you can hold it in place. I don't know why they do that, but yeah, it works. I guess when you pull the seat down, maybe you need to do that. But yeah, it's alright. It's got a center seat belt, ISOFIX, and all the stuff. This is a nice touch to the seats. Has a nice center armrest which comes down. I've never even sat in the back before this. Center armrest, pretty nice. It's not a bad car to begin with. And then you have adjustable headrest. I think this is the N8 trim, so this gets the adjustable headrest in the back. The base trim doesn't. The N6 for the base trim I drove initially with the IMT didn't have this. So that's another upside. You get rear vents, you get a USB charging slot over here. I don't know why they don't give Type C. I mean, everything is Type C now. So yeah, they should have given a Type C. At least these modern iPhones are all Type C. So that kind of does it. The plastic quality, okay, nothing great, nothing to write home about. They have got a compartment over here for the passenger side, but not on the driver's side, I guess, not to disturb the driver. Good thought. Other than that, it's pretty black. Everything is black and there's no contrast. I really wish they had put this part in a different color or gray or something nice and soft touch, but they didn't. And well, it's okay. I mean, at least nobody who buys the N-Line is going to spend time in the back much. Right? Let's take a look at the boot now. The boot. Okay, how do I open this? Yeah, there's a button over here. It's this button. So you press this button and the boot opens. Let me just zoom in the button. That's the button to the boot. Standard boot, not too big, not too small. I guess you can put some luggage in here or a couple of tires. One tire I think will fit. One tire under, one tire over. Toolkit. Packaging is weird. This is silly packaging. There's no lining on this. That's okay. It won't move around too much. And it's got the Bose speakers again in the back, which is a very nice addition. I didn't know I was getting Bose speakers, so I was pretty happy about it. That's the inside. Fuel lid over here. You unlock the car, the fuel lid comes out. Cute little touch. It integrates nicely into the body. Okay, so that's the interior and exterior. Couple of things I noticed which I didn't like was that the wheel well doesn't have a cover. So that's why road noise. A lot of the reviewers have complained about road noise. If you look at the wheel well, there's no plastic cladding on it. Most cars in this segment have a plastic cladding which covers everything up, also acts as a sound absorber for reducing road noise. This car doesn't have it. I don't know why. Maybe they figured that's to save cost or something. But yeah, even in the front is a very minimal wheel liner. But all the road noise that you see over here, it comes through to the cabin, and that is not a nice thing. I wish they could have at least given us that to give us some prevention from the road noise. In terms of engine, we'll check the engine out in a bit. Small gripe about this car is that the front brakes are nice, discs are big disc, and brake caliper is red. And this car also gets rear brake discs also, nice brake disc, but the caliper is silver. I think somebody in Hyundai messed up or forgot that the color code matching of the calipers has to be done on these cars. I don't know if it's my car or every N-Line over there, that rear brake caliper silver, front brake caliper red, which is odd to say the least. So that's the first walk around review of the N-Line in terms of interiors, exteriors, engine bay, functionality, quality, sunroof, features, what matters to most car enthusiasts. I'll do a proper drive video, and hopefully in that drive video I'll be able to explain to you guys why this car is very different from what I expected it to be and why I like it so much. Till then, stay tuned. Bye bye.